Hello and welcome to the Global Live Speakers Summit. This is our 21st summit, and we are glad that you've come here to join us today live as we introduce you 5 phenomenal speakers who are going to talk on the topic of turning your dreams into a reality. You should never let anything stop you from reaching your goals in life and turning those dreams into a reality. And we have here some experts who have, in fact, managed to do that in their own lives, and will be giving you advice and suggestions for how this is something that you can make happen for yourself as well. So without further ado, I want to say thank you for being here. We are GST, and I want to tell you a little bit about us, if you'll allow me. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to share this little thing about GST. And it is, apologies for that. I'm not being very, there we are, that's better. Hopefully you can see that on your screen, can you? Can everybody see the slide that I'm sharing, or is it not working? Give me a thumbs up if you see the slide. Yep, fabulous. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about us. GST is a startup company. It's an international company. It was founded in 2021, and we organize online events to uncover, discover, and share your amazing voice around the globe. Global Speakers Talk is determined to raise and lift, encourage and inspire coaches, speakers, and trainers who are camera shy to face their fears and do it anyway. We're here for you and your voice, providing you with accountability and a very supportive community for positive feedback and strengthening your voice. GST's core belief is that every voice and every new voice is a story to be told, to be uncovered, to come into the light and to grow and impact the world. Our vision is to inspire, raise and support 1 million inner voices, empowering them to discover and embrace their full potential. And I would like, without further ado, to tell you a little bit about me, but my computer give me tech problems. It's always the way, isn't it? So I'm a qualified primary school teacher. I'm your host today. I'm not going to be talking on the topic, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a teacher by trade, an early years specialist. I did 23 years in the classroom. I worked in 4 different countries, and then I started up Exquisite Learners in 2020, and it was a way to help parents and their children with their learning at home, whether that's supporting homework or working with the children full-time on home education. So I have a supportive community, which is Teach Your Child at Home and Learn at Home, 3 to 8-year-olds, and that is on Facebook. And I believe, and I'm passionate about lifelong learning, and that learning through play and investigation for under 12s should happen wherever possible. I want to inspire learning for a lifetime in both children and parents, and so that they can embrace their learning together and build the strong bonds that a family needs and make memories through fun, interactive activities together. I'm also a children's book illustrator, an artist and a designer, and I have a shop on Etsy called Exquisite with Heart. I have a YouTube channel that has a Draw With Me series for children, and also I have brought out 5 books now. I've been illustrating children's books, and the first 4 books were Amazon #1s in the UK. We were so ecstatic that we were able to get that in many categories, but we also managed to get all 5 of the books that we've put out into the new best release, the best newest releases in the USA. So we're very proud of what we've achieved. We're bringing out a book every month for children, and there's another one dropping in about a week. So I'm the illustrator, and my friend is the author. She's a well-known award-winning author in South Africa for children, and we've worked together on this project to bring books to children who can for those who are the reluctant reader. So it's designed to be an in-betweeny book from picture books, moving on to more harder chapter books, but it's a very, very small chapter book with lots of elements of picture books to it, and they can color in the pictures. But just before I move on to our speakers today, I wanted to tell you a little bit about my membership in GST. I was invited to host a podcast after being in GST from almost its inception, very short after it began. And I did it. I braved the fear and did it, even though I was terrified. And so what being in GST has done for me it's improved my ability to feel the fear and do it anyway, if you like. I don't think fear ever completely goes away. And I think fear can be obviously healthy in some situations, but I was excessively fearful of going live and talking on camera. So I'm very grateful to the community and GST for everything it's done for me and helped me to get over my crippling fear and worry for hours and days before having to do a live. And that has all come from the wonderful community and being able to practice. So obviously I still feel normal level of fear like I have today coming on, but I'm living my life more fearlessly every day. So without further ado, we have got our first speaker today, which is the wonderful Dr. Ian Levine. Now, Dr. Ian is a self-talk trainer and he is a NeoroCoach. He lives in Georgetown, Cayman Islands, and he is the founder and CEO of Levine NeoroCoaching Ltd. It's an innovative personal growth organization, and he is engaged in training people to use their mind and their brain intentionally so that they can reach the highest level of their human potential. Dr. Ian therefore uses his expertise as a certified self-talk trainer and NeoroCoach to train and empower leaders, teams, and organizations in the USA, the UK, Africa, and in the Caribbean regions. Additionally, as a peace ambassador, His Excellency Dr. Ian Levine supports the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations on a global level. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you Mr. Dr. Ian Levine. Sir, welcome.
Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. You know, when we come onto the global platform, this is what we call the live theater, and we always have to check to ensure that we are being seen and that we're being heard loud and clear. So, Madam Host, just let me know if you can see me clearly and if you can hear me loud and clear. Awesome. And we know today that we are speaking about turning your dreams into a reality, not turning my dreams, not turning the dreams of the host, not turning the dreams of Naomi, but not turning the dreams of Sheldon or the founder right here who's with us, but it's about turning your dreams into a reality. Our time is limited, and I will ensure that my time, my 10 to 15 minutes are well spent. So what about turning your dreams into a reality? There are three important but simple points I want to leave with you. Number one is know exactly what you want to achieve. Once again, I want to bring this extremely personal to you, knowing exactly what you want to achieve, what you want to achieve in life and work, what you want to achieve in your spirit, in your soul, in your body, what you want to achieve personally and professionally, what you want to achieve in all the most important areas of your life, turning your dreams into reality. Number one, know exactly what you want to achieve. Number two, and these are three turnkey strategies for you. So as I said, number one, know exactly what you want to achieve. Number two, believe that your dreams will be manifested. Believe that your dreams will be manifested. And number three is take action, but just not simply action. we aren't speaking about nonchalant action, but we're speaking about taking decisive actions. Number one, again, knowing exactly what you want to achieve. Number two, believing that your dreams will be manifested. And number three, taking decisive actions. Number one, the first strategy, knowing exactly what you want to achieve. Knowing exactly what you want to achieve. And I bring a bit of neuroscience into our perspective, nothing heavy, but a very, very simple neuroscience principle. As Madam Host said earlier, I am a certified self-taught trainer and I am also a NeoroCoach. So naturally, I have to bring NeoroCoaching into this scenario. It's like a baker. You can't speak about being a baker without baking a cake. You can't speak about being a baker without presenting the cake to the audience. So once again, number one, knowing exactly what you want to achieve. In other words, you have to give your brain specific instructions. You have to literally give your brain specific instructions. You know, from the study of neuroscience, the study within the field of neurocoaching, we know that your brain has 100 billion neurons. So you have to tell your brain exactly what you want. You have to give your brain clear, specific directions. Why? Because that is how your brain functions. Actually, your brain does not know the difference between what is real or what is imagined, what is true or false. Every message, literally every message which you give to your brain is going to receive that message as being true. Your brain is going to interpret that message as being the truth. So if you tell your brain A, your brain is going to believe A. If you say to your brain B, your brain is going to believe B. So you have to be specific. We know in the field and in the area of goal setting, we've heard about the SMART, S-M-A-R-T, the SMART principle. You know, you have to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound. And honestly, the pioneers of the SMART goal formula, I don't think that they probably understood this a bit, but I don't think that they realized that they were actually sitting on a goal mind when they spoke about being smart. Because as I said before, you have to give your brain specific directions, clear, crystal directions. For every message which your brain receives, as I said before, your brain will capture that message as true and will cause those messages to become a reality. Actually, there is a part in your brain known as the reticular activating system, the RAS, the reticular activating system. And your reticular activating system actually acts as we call a gatekeeper. And what do we mean the gatekeeper? It means it filters out what is not necessary and it attracts what is necessary. I give you a quick example. Let's say that you're looking for a red car. I wouldn't mention any particular model because we're not here to promote any particular car industry or promote any particular car, but I just say, let's say that you want a particular car, let's say a red car. You know the brand, you know the make, you know the model. And you go into Sheldon is right here. You go into Sheldon, I'm giving you a business right now. You go into Sheldon's car dealership, a brand new car dealership with all type of cars. So you go into Sheldon's car dealership, you test drive the car that you want. Remember, it's that nice looking red car. You test drive the car, you return the car, you say, Mr. Sheldon, we'll be back in the next couple of days to purchase our car. And you drive out now in the normal car which you're driving. And what happens? All of a sudden, you begin to see that particular car which you just took for a test drive. You literally begin to see that model, that make, and you're saying to yourself, wow, I just took that particular car for a test drive, and now I'm out and about. I'm seeing that particular car everywhere I turn. Where did those cars come from? Those cars were always there. But because you gave your brain a specific message, because you had intention, you had focus, your reticular activating system, the reticular activating system, the RAS in your brain, just brought that into your field of reality. So wherever you go, you're seeing that type of vehicle. The exact same thing will happen to your goals and dreams. That when you know exactly what you want, you will activate your reticular activating system. And what happens when that is activated? Persons will come into your space, opportunities, finances, resources, when you are specific with your goals, when you are specific with your dreams. Remember, we are speaking about turning your dreams into a reality. Number one, knowing exactly what you want to achieve. And we spoke about giving your brain, telling your brain exactly what you want. Be clear, be specific, be direct. That's number one. Number two, believing your dreams will be manifested. Believing your dreams will be manifested. One of the greatest authors and preachers and teachers, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, this is what he said. He said, expect the best. Remember now, number two is believing your goals will be manifested. And it was Dr. Norman Vincent Peale who said, expect the best. For when you expect the best, you release a magnetic force in your mind, which by a law of attraction tends to bring the best to you. So you have to believe that your dreams will be manifested by expecting the best, expecting that those goals and dreams will become a reality in your life. It was also Dr. Norman Vincent Peale who said, believe in yourself and have faith in your abilities. So if you want to really and truly turn your dreams into a reality, you have to believe in your dreams. You have to believe in what you want to achieve. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that whatever you think and whatever you say will be manifested. Expect the best. You release a magnetic force in your mind, which by a law of attraction tends to bring the best to you. Believe in yourself and believe in yourself and have faith in your abilities. And one of the ancient scripture texts, it says, all things are possible to those who believe. Are you believing? Are you believing? So how will this become a reality? Believing your goals and dreams. How will this become a reality? How will this become a reality? See it in your mind and see it in your reality. See it in your mind and in your reality. I heard a quick story relative to Walt Disney when he had already passed away and his brother was being interviewed, and the interviewer asked his brother, how do you think your brother Walt Disney would have felt that he is not alive, but all this Walt Disney World is a reality? And without missing a beat, without even thinking, his brother simply said, Disney World is a reality because my brother saw it. So what does this mean? Believing in your dreams, believing that your dreams will be manifested. You have to see it. You literally have to see it becoming a reality. See it in your mind, see it in your space. Just not only see it, we operate on a triad of success: thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So you have to see it. You have to feel it. What does it feel? What your dream, what does it feel? How will it feel when I become the CEO of this company? How is this going to feel when I am in the house of my dream? How will it feel when I am walking down the aisle with the person who I am about to say I do? You have to feel it, literally feel it with emotions, thoughts, feelings, and emotions. You also have to taste it. How well is actually having an experience, an internal experience for an outward manifestation. You have to live it, taste it, see it, feel it, experience it. This goal, this dream, your reality, how will this make me feel? In other words, you're not experiencing the feeling when it happens, but you are experiencing it right now. I can imagine how Walt Disney, I can imagine how he just felt it. He felt the rise. I can imagine how he heard the adults and the kids screaming, not with fear, but with adrenaline. I can imagine how he saw all the rise and the color. He actually engaged himself in the reality. And that is how you will also make your goals and dreams become a reality. Number one, we said know exactly what you want to achieve. Number two, we said believe in your dreams, believe that your dreams will be manifested. And number three, take decisive action. We can think it, we can believe it, we can speak it, we can feel it, but you have to take decisive action. Without action, nothing will happen. Take action, be decisive, be persistent, don't give up. Do not give up. You remember with the light bulb, 1,909, there are so many different variables, but 1,999 ways I did not fail, but it was a process. So you have to take action. You have to go after what you want with zest and zeal and determination. And as you take that action, you will be confident that no matter what comes your way, the challenges, the stress, the distress, that as you are persistent and as you see that goal or those goals and dreams ahead of you, that you will become successful in what you are pushing to achieve in life. Turning your dreams into a reality. As I close, number one, know exactly what you want to achieve. Believe your dreams will be manifested. And number three, take decisive action. I am Dr. Ian Levine. My time is up. I thank you absolutely for yours. Back over to you, Madam Host. Thank you.
Brilliant. That was so great. I loved your speech today about it. I took some things from it. Dr. Ian, the main thing is those 3 points. You have to know what you want. You have to know you can get it. And you have to take that action. And you have to be fearlessly with the zest and zeal. I liked what you said there, and go for it. No matter what comes your way, no matter what the ups and downs are and the things that get in your path. I love that you mentioned SMART goals. I love the fact you brought in the neuro idea and everything in your brain, you know, everything you say to your brain, it's listening. So being smart with those SMART goals, being specific, clear with your directions. And I love that reticular activating system thing too. It wasn't until I got my car and I thought, oh, I'm one of the only ones with this car. Nope. I was not. I saw them everywhere. Yes, that's always quite fascinating, isn't it? That theory. So yeah, not theory. Sorry, that. What would you say? That part of our body, I suppose. It's an actual. I don't know what it's described as. You could probably answer it, but that's not what we're here for. Anyway, I digress. So we're going to move to our next speaker. Thank you so much, Dr. Ian, for your contribution today. And we have a wonderful lady coming up, and I'm just going to share my screen so that I can tell you a little bit more about her, because she is Sherry Marie Rovirosa. She is a women's life and fitness coach and mommy majesty and a mother of 12. I hope I pronounced your surname correctly, Sherry. Please forgive me if I did not, but I want to tell you about Sherry being this life and fitness coach. So I got a picture of her here, which I'd like to share with you. And I'd like to share my screen. Apologies for the delay. I thought I had this tech all sorted out, but you know, when it comes to it, being perfectly imperfect as I usually am. And I'm going to try and make this on the big screen for you to see. So she's a life and fitness coach, and she's known as the Mummy Majesty, as I already said. Now, she is the mother of 12 children, and she's homeschooled every single one of them all the way to college. And she and her family were missionaries, and they traveled with all of those children around the US and lived on the mission field of Mexico. She has 8 high school graduates amongst her clan and 5 college graduates so far, and the younger ones are heading towards that way. During her 12 pregnancies, she did get sick and had to be bedridden and would gain 60 to 80 pounds each time. And she created this fitness program so that she could lose weight and get her pre-baby shape back again. She was successful 12 times. Now she's able to coach women through that fitness program, Mommy Majesty Fitness. And she is currently writing a book about her story. She's created a line of all natural herbal healthcare products for women that address many of the female health issues to do with menstruation and childbirth. She's also a fashion designer, interior designer, a makeup artist, and a hairstylist. Her desire is to help empower the whole woman so that they show up as the healthiest, best version of themselves to be able to achieve all of their dreams and goals in this life. And without further ado, I'd love to introduce to you the beautiful and amazing Sherry. And I just want to go back to my Zoom screen if I can. And I'm having problems with my computer. Finally, it's given me the chance to stop sharing. And we'll be having Sheldon next. Okay. Can I give the floor to you, Sherry, please?
Hello. Yes. Thank you for that introduction. And it's an honor to be here. I'm so excited. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to share the system that I have been using for the last 35 years to turn my dreams into reality. So I have a 4-part system that I have used, and I will try to quickly go through the main parts here to share and hopefully encourage other people to be able to reach their dreams. So the 4 parts are mindset, planning, scheduling, and showing up. So the first part, mindset, which we all, I think, agree is probably the most important part. Getting our mind in the right beliefs, as Ian just shared, and doing mindset work so that we can discover some limiting beliefs that we believe subconsciously that sometimes we don't even know are running many of our decisions and much of our life. So it's been very powerful to uncover what those are, and then to change those. By changing our thinking, we can literally rewire our brain, which is very encouraging, very exciting. And because then that will change our life. So what I put together is the Mommy Majesty Mindset, as we call it, or M3. And that starts, I found the best way to work on my mindset is to start out first thing in the morning. And so basically this is a daily morning routine that I put together and I teach my clients. And it consists of 10 keys. And the 10 keys are atmosphere, pampering, silence and prayer, reading, journaling, affirmations, visualization, gratefulness, exercise, and style. So I'm going to hit a little bit on each one of these. So first is atmosphere. Now, why is atmosphere important to establish a daily morning routine. I have found that, especially for women, a lot of times how we feel really helps us to be consistent. So atmosphere, I encourage them to have their daily morning routine in maybe their favorite little corner of the house or favorite chair or somewhere that makes them feel good, that they enjoy being there. Maybe it's warm and cozy, whatever it is. If we establish this routine as something that we enjoy and we look forward to, we'll be more apt to stay consistent in it. And then second is pampering. So if you are one who has coffee every morning, and that makes you happy, I encourage them to elevate that experience a little bit by maybe getting a beautiful coffee cup that you really enjoy looking at, or a very special kind of coffee, or have a candle lit, or maybe fresh flowers in your spot that you have your morning routine. All of these things are little things that some people think aren't important, but really, when we pamper ourselves and give ourselves what we need, those bring joy. You know, just those little joys through our day add up. So then we look forward to doing this every morning. And so the first part that we do is silence. So if we start our day off in a moment of silence, deep breathing, calming, and then I pray. And when I pray about all the things that are on my mind, the things that I'm trying to achieve, any worries, any conflicts, all of that. And I just picture myself putting all of that into the hands of God and trusting him with it. And when I do, a huge weight is lifted off me, and a peace comes over me that is wonderful. Then reading is very good in the morning, first thing. I read at least one verse of the Bible and then an inspirational book. And whatever jumps out at me at that time, I write down in my journal. So the next part is journaling. Excuse me. And then I have note cards for my affirmation, whatever jumped out at me that day that encouraged me, that may have answered a question that I have, or a conflict, or it's just inspiring. I'll write those on my note card, and then I keep that with me throughout the day, pull it out and reread that, so that we are literally rewiring our minds. Also during the journaling, sometimes a limiting belief may come up that I didn't realize that I had as I'm writing down my feelings about what I've read. And then at that time, I can reframe or change the way I'm thinking about that. And I'll write that on my card so that that new reframed belief I can read during the day whenever it comes up, and it will change how I think about it over time. Then I do visualization. So for visualization, what I like to do is I like to go into the future of those dreams and goals that I had set and visualize myself with our powerful imagination that we have. Visualize myself having already achieved that dream. How am I showing up at that time? What do I look like? What do I feel? That future version of me that has already achieved my dreams. And I allow myself to feel those emotions. Am I going to be proud and excited? Am I going to be in tears? How am I going to feel? Confident, joy, and that future version of myself that has already accomplished those things. I try to every day start to live into that. So I examine my life and what habits am I involved in now that the future me will not be doing, because she won't be able to reach that goal if she is. So identify those wrong habits, or just habits that may be not bad, but they're just keeping me from that goal. Try to filter those out of my life and introduce new habits slowly that she would do to be able to accomplish the goals that she's already accomplished. Then I write a letter from my future self who's accomplished the goals. I write a letter of the dates, possibly what exactly has happened, how I feel about it, very detailed letter. And I read that out loud to myself every morning. So as Ian was talking about the reticular activating system, by reading this, I'm telling my brain what to focus on, what I want to accomplish. And I'm feeling the emotions ahead of time. Because a lot of the reason that we want to accomplish anything is how it's going to make us feel. And so we don't have to wait till we accomplish it to feel that way. We can create those emotions now, which will attract those dreams and that success to us quicker now. And as we practice being that future version of ourselves, feeling the emotions, showing up as the future person, eventually we literally become that person who can achieve that goal. Because our daily habits are literally who we are. We are made up of our daily habits. And so as we begin taking new habits that our future self would be taking, we just step into that person. We literally grow into that person. And then that becomes our new normal, our new comfort zone. So visualization is very, very powerful. And the practice of doing the letter, reading it out loud, there's a lot of power to the spoken word. And so I read that every morning, and then every night before I go to bed. Also gives my brain things to work on as I'm sleeping even. And our brain will look for ways to bring about that goal, to figure out the difficulties that need to be overcome. All those things subconsciously our brain is working on. And it's very, very exciting when that happens. So then the next thing is gratefulness. Then I take a few minutes to just really put my mind in the positive energy of gratefulness, all the things I have to be grateful for. And I thank God for the positive, but I also thank him for the difficult things. I don't call them bad things, but they can be difficult because those things are actually gold. Those are the things that are going to help us to grow, to learn to overcome, to build great character that we are going to need to reach our goals. So that time I take to get in a grateful attitude starts my day in the most positive energy possible. The next, I exercise, even if it's just walking, some kind of cardio. I start my ladies on 15 minutes. And then once that's a habit and that's easy to achieve, then we move up to 30 minutes. A great goal is an hour every morning, but even I can't get that in sometimes. So even if it's just 20 to 30 minutes, it gets our blood moving. It creates energy. It works out the stiff, joints from sleeping. It burns off negative hormones that have built up while we sleep and replaces them with positive hormones. And we just start our day physically in the most optimal state possible, which helps emotionally too, to feel so good. Then last, style. And not everyone thinks this is important, but there is also a study, and it's shown that we have what's called enclothed cognition. And enclothed cognition is basically our brains will want to live into the uniform we have on that day, whatever we look in the mirror and see ourselves wearing. So I try to think of an outfit as a uniform. So on my schedule for that day, if I have something that needs to be done where I'm going to have a lot of confidence, then I need to have an outfit on that gives me that confidence that I need. If I'm going to clean all day, I'm not going to be wearing a formal because it will be very hard to live into cleaning with formal and all of that. So it's very important how we dress every day because it really does tell our mind who we are to be that day and how to live out that day. So style is very important, I believe, too. And all these 10 keys that I've shared in the morning routine all build our self-image also. And our self-image is the confidence that we have to reach our goals. So our self-image is very, very important. That's all part one of the 4 parts. These other 2 parts go very quickly, or 3 parts, but I really wanted to hit on the mindset because I really believe it's the most important key. And we start every morning in a morning routine, getting our mindset ready for that day. Part 2 is planning our goals. So we've set our goals already. Now we're planning them. So we're going to break that down into projects. What are the projects that need to happen to reach our goals? Then we break those into smaller tasks, and then we put them in order. Part 3 is scheduling. We want to put them on our calendar, and we want to schedule results-based tasks. In other words, we don't want to put general tasks on there like work on my website, because then when we sit down to do that, our brain wants to be confused and wants to give us excuses and distract us into maybe social media or shopping or something like that. And so if we give our brain exact results-based tasks, like buy a web domain, or exactly what you want the result to be, then we're more apt to get the job done. Then the other thing is to give ourselves enough time on our schedule, but not too much time. We can learn to do things faster if we give ourselves less time. And part 4 is to show up daily for our dreams. So this can be the hardest part sometimes. We can get a great scheduling system, have everything down and ready to go, and then it comes time to show up, right? But the important thing about this is if we do not show up, then we are chipping away at our own self-trust, which lowers our self-esteem, then lowers our confidence. Every time we show up for something we've told ourselves we're going to do, it builds self-trust, which builds self-esteem and builds confidence. And we're going to need our confidence to reach these dreams that we have. So we need to be willing to go forward, be committed, also be willing to fail, because failing is how we learn. And it's very important to be willing to do that. And I think the biggest thing that stops people is their fear of failure. But failure is actually a gift because it's how we learn. So these are the things that I've used in the last 35 years to reach my goals of having the children, losing the weight, getting them through school, all the different things that I've dreamt of accomplishing in life, and God's helped me accomplish them through this system that I've used.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sherry. Wow, what a lot of wisdom you shared with us there. I absolutely love your Mummy Majesty mindset that you started with, you know, that whole, you know, getting the morning right. It's a bit like when we work with children, we have to get those foundations right when we're learning with children. And it's the same with us as adults, you know, start at the beginning, get the beginning of your day really well done and get everything in place. And again, you talked along the same lines of talking to your brain, how important it is that everything we say, we're saying to our brain. So that visualizing the future and being that person, starting to live the way that person that you want to be would live, and trashing all of those habits that are not going to work for you. Absolutely brilliant. So much. Please do tell us in the comments, if you're listening, about your takeaways from our first 2 speakers, because there's so much there. The detailed letter is a fabulous idea. I'm actually going to go and do that right away after this, because I think it's fantastic. Because you mentioned the power of the spoken word, and that's it, power. You know, the power of speaking to our brain. So thank you so much, Sherry, for everything that you shared with us.
Thank you, Lisa. Real quick, could I share a free gift with our listeners?
Absolutely.
Okay. For turning your dreams into reality, the outline you can get at sherrymarie.life, SHERRYMARIE.life. And it's just a free gift for you. Thank you so much.
That's beautiful. And would it be okay if you pop that in the comments when the live stream is finished and the replay is up, so people can click on the link? That would be lovely. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to now hear from a wonderful gentleman, Mr. Sheldon Crocker, and he is an inspirational keynote soul speaker, and he is a human inclusion specialist and author. I'm going to tell you all about him and show you his picture. Just bear with me, here it comes. And we have got Sheldon, who grew up in a small community, the only one there with a physical disability. Doctors thought he would never walk on his own. Sheldon was born with a physical disability called arthrogryposis, which causes a lack of muscular development, contraction at most joints, and designed inability, unable to crawl. He had braces on his legs and a bar between his feet connecting both shoes until he was about 5 years old. Sheldon learned to walk by placing his back against the wall, sliding along, and the only way he could get downstairs was to sit on his bottom and bop his way down the steps. But only a few years ago, he completed a 10-mile road race ahead of 29 others. Crocker's unique, unforgettable humor influences his powerful tasks, inspiring his audience to pursue their dreams. Several national news programs and networks have featured him, including Global News. Sheldon is also a published author, and he's been interested in public speaking and sharing his lived experiences since he succeeded in stopping all of his addictions 20 plus years of age. Sheldon identifies as being a person with disability that isn't a disability. He says he has disability to overcome obstacles and challenges. He is a choir member of Stella's Circle Inclusion Choir. Sheldon states that it is with great pride that he is a strong advocate for inclusion, integration, and diversity. I have disability to step outside of my comfort zone and disability to empower others by helping them recognize their inner greatness. He also says that he speaks out to help make a difference in someone's life that he wishes had been made in his when he was young. So here's Sheldon. He is making a difference, and he is telling us that he has a disability. And I would love for you to welcome Sheldon as he speaks to us about the topic of, I'm going to unmute you, Sheldon, so you're ready to speak. Okay, and I've the speaker views. So Sheldon, the floor is all yours.
Well, thank you very much for having me here. It's my honor and my privilege, and it's a dream of mine to actually be here. So it's a dream of reality. Did you know that dreams lead us to the corners of our smiles, to the highest hopes in our hurts? My brain is in my head, and my feet are in my shoes. I'll move in any direction that I choose. My deepest dream is to treat disabled people as equal among everybody. I also fulfilled my childhood dream by performing with a local singer here, Amelia Curran, with the Inclusion Choir at Bannerman Park's 41st Annual Folk Festival. I remember telling my mother when I was a child, someday I'll sing to the crowds on that stage. She just smiled and patted me on the head. Well, I did that, so that's another dream that I had to come true. All of us share dreams, hopes, and fears. Like a flower, we have bloomed and grown beyond our comfort zones. It's incredible to feel included. My head is full of dreams, my eyes are full of tears, and my summary of the passing years. Another dream that I had when I was 40 years old. I had a dream when I was 12 years old that when I was 40 years old, I was going to be in Ireland. So most people forget their dreams right away after they wake up. I held on to this dream for 28 years. I made it to Ireland, and it was a great experience. It was actually the time that my life really fully began. Some will not understand and some will not care. We have the courage, strength, and determination to reach our dreams. All of us do. To succeed. We are all on a valuable journey, but believing in our abilities will enable us to climb higher mountains. Let's be gentle with ourselves. That's where we need to start. Many people are already trying to put pressure on us, putting us down, and trying to dull our sparkle. There is no limit to what we can achieve. The dream of rivalry and competition disappears as we fully comprehend life in unity. We all have stories to tell, and I dream that someday we will. Relationships contribute to deep love and empathy for everyone around us. Nothing is permanent, including feelings. Joy and despair exchange places just like night becomes day. They are a part of life, the nature of things, and when we accept grace, we show the universe that we deserve only the best and are ready to receive it and can fulfill our dreams. Did you know that there's 18 steps that I came up with to help us discover our dreams? They're only short, so I will let you know how to live your dream life, your step-by-step guide. Dreams are more than wealth. They are about living a life aligned with your purpose. Every great dream begins with a dreamer, according to Harriet Tubman. You possess the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars and change the world. You can consider other factors if you are ready to stop defining your life according to what other people's expectations are. Number one, know what you want. We spend more time complaining than figuring out what we really want. Knowing what your heart desires is crucial. You can ask yourself such questions as, what makes me happy? What am I interested in? What does success mean to me? What do I want from my life? What are my priorities? What do I admire? And when you write down these answers to these questions, it helps you figure out what you really want. After all, discovering your dream life begins with defining what it is. If you're not exactly sure what you want, then how can you reach for it? You can't. So discover what is missing in your life. Discover what aspects of your life need your immediate attention and what you need to fulfill your life. Number two, construct a plan of action. Imagine what your dream life will look like if you want to start living it. Because if you don't imagine what it's going to look like, then you don't know what you're striving for. Continuously competing in your mind can help, just like Olympians being ready for their moment in the sun. Studies support this belief as they show you can actually reach your goals and gain muscles by visualizing yourself working out. Visualization is a powerful motivational tool for non-athletes as well. Number three, think possibilities over limitations. Life is limitless in its potential. If you think otherwise, you limit yourself and the abilities you have. To advance in life and create a dream life for yourself, many people undervalue their skills and abilities. It's true that we have limitations like our health, energy level, and focus, but we can train these things to be better. Living your dream life will be easier if you view your limitations as glass ceilings, not tougher materials. See it as a glass ceiling, then you know your limitations can be broken and you can expand further. Number four, focus your attention. Your beliefs create consciousness. Consciousness creates reality, and reality is maintained by how your mind filters information. If you want to start living your dreams now, you need to change your perspective. The ones you receive are those your mind believes matter to you based on past experiences. By taking action, you'll find new opportunities you never knew existed. Number 5, take consistent action. Consistency is the key to achieving what you want and living the dream life. There will be days when you will begin to lose patience, want to give up, and that's completely understandable. Once you feel better, get back on track, because everything you do is building blocks to what is closer to your goals. Number 6, track your progress. It's important to track your progress regularly to ensure you are on the right path. Such as myself when I've done that 10-mile road race. You know, and the title of my book is To Keep On Walking. It's not necessarily a physical walk, but you can walk around your barriers, walk around. I'm not physically able to climb a mountain. I'm not able to lift my arms above my chest, actually, just as high as my arms will go. But I can go to a store and buy some dynamite and blow a hole through the mountain. Or I can find a way to walk around the mountain. I might not be able to climb it, but so if I had a dream that I wanted to get around that mountain, I would. It's important to track your progress, journals, calendars, and apps to keep record of your progress and successes. Focus on making progress rather than obsessing over perfection, because perfection is a myth. Perfection doesn't exist. Most importantly, remember to celebrate your achievements and give yourself credit for your successes, no matter how small, because they all matter and they all measure up. Because you know what? You wholly deserve it. Number 7, ignore comparisons. The only competition you should have in your life is the person you are right at this moment. Don't worry or compare the person who is older than you or who has more money than you. Focus on your story and spend time developing that. Number 8, put systems and processes in place. Once you have the proper mindset to start living your dream life, you are ready to shift your focus to reach your goals. The mistake most people make is that they are excited when they begin. They are working solely off discipline and willpower, like New Year's Eve resolutions and going to the gym and working out. It starts for a while, but then it loses energy. This is why so many people who are on a diet will make nutritious decisions through the day and fail miserably late at night. If you want to ensure that you follow through on your vision, you have to be willing to limit the ability for you to revert back to your previous life. Number 9, change the game, but don't let it change you. Now, as the singer Macklemore said, I believe he said it best. This is what he said: I don't control life, but I control how I react to it. In so many instances, people are willing to sacrifice themselves and their identity become someone they're not, just being who they are. People are willing to sacrifice themselves and they are not being who they are. This can take shape in getting a new job or making a deal that could shape the future of their lives, business, and inner circle. All in all, it's not worth it to settle for that. Instead, take pride in who you are and stick to your values. Number 10, accountability is a must. When you are accountable to someone or a group, such as this fantastic group that we're part of here today, you will find yourself more motivated to continue. When you proclaim your goal to specific people, it improves the likelihood of you following through. Accountability works best because you want to keep your word and make a good impression of yourself in front of others. Number 11. Now, the next couple should be a bit shorter. Number 11, find a cause for change. Your dream life does not necessarily need a positive event to start. Often it is the negative events that drives people to reach further than they ever have before. The cause for change may be exactly what you wanted, or maybe the worst thing that could ever happen. Either way, your focus is on what to do next. Choose to respond to each situation by taking another step towards your dream life. Number 12, be open to failure. Embrace failure and don't fear, because it's better to try and fail than never have to try it at all. The key is to not take failure personally. Instead, we can take failure and use it as an opportunity to learn and grow and become closer to our dreams. When you become better at failing, you develop a sense of fearlessness, which helps you get out of your comfort zone, take risks, and reach your dreams. Number 13, surround yourself with positive people. Having the right kind of people around is essential for your growth and development. For instance, someone who is around toxic people is bound to have lower self-esteem and be forever stressed. How many people do you know are negative because when they're around certain people, and then they're more positive around when they're around other people? What you need is happy, encouraging, and supportive people. Those who can guide you, lift your spirits, and help you maintain a positive frame of mind. Understand that character matters. Some character traits common with how much people view success, such as grit, curiosity, or self-control. However, gratitude, zest, optimism, and social intelligence are also on the list, but they're relative to what the person believes. Focus on what you can control. Sometimes when your mind is going places and leaving you stressed, take a deep breath and let it out. Stop thinking and eliminate all the unnecessary thoughts. At such times, just focus on the things that are within your control and forget about the rest. You need to accept the fact that there are things that you cannot control and are beyond your grasp. And there is no need to waste your energy obsessing over them. Finally, muster up the courage. Do not allow yourself to procrastinate on your transformation. The fear of change may disguise itself as a thoughtful plan to wait for more information on better timing. If you are willing to take the first few steps, you are going to realize that you can see a few more steps into the fog. If you are willing to continue walking, before you know it, you can clearly see because the fog is behind you. You have an idea of what your dream life looks like, and you have an idea of the effort it is going to take to make it happen. However, you do not really know how realistic your expectations are until you experience it. So, I want to thank you for allowing me to speak today. Not sure, I don't have a stopwatch or anything. I don't know if I'm over time or not. But,
you were fantastic, Sheldon. Thank you so much. I mean, I took from that so many things that we had barely touched on already. I love that you said about, the deep breathing. Lots of people use breath work as a good way of coping when things are not going the way. And what I really enjoyed was you talking about having the correct people around you, because it's so important. People are so important to this whole journey. And having the right people, the positive people around you that understand where you're going is always going to help understand what your mission is. And like you say, clarifying in the beginning that you have a clear perspective, that you've defined it clearly, that you know exactly what you desire and exactly where you're going to aim to, towards that glass ceiling, and break it off. The visualization is coming in again. I loved it. And finally, I'd like to mention where you brought up everyone has a story to tell. And I think that's very important as well, because with our unique stories, like you explained, we can avoid comparing ourselves to others, because it's futile, because no one is going to be us. We have a unique story. We are unique. And therefore, comparisons are irrelevant. Perfectionism doesn't exist. You have to celebrate every little step towards your goal. And I completely relate to that, being a primary school teacher. I've always been very much the tiniest little goals and all of that journey towards where you're going. Fantastic, amazing advice and wisdom you've shared today. So thank you very, very much, Sheldon. Again, I'm wonderfully inspirational speaker. We've still got 2 more to share with you today. And the gift just keeps on giving. We have beautiful Mihaela coming up next, and Mihaela is a woman's life and fitness coach. She's an ESL teacher, and she's the founder of the Visionary Masters. And I'm just going to share her lovely picture here now. Let me just share my screen, and I'll just share. Here we go. So she lives in Romania, and she is a pre-high school teacher for young children, and she loves what she does. She is also the founder of Visionary Masters, and it's based on education. Sorry. Education. I'm trying to move this out of my way so I can read it. Education, coaching and enrichment. So, Mihaela, we are really looking forward to hearing from you. I'm trying to click to stop my share, and my computer is being naughty again. So there we are. We're back with the lovely Mihaela, and here she is for you all to see. Mihaela, come and talk to us, lovely, and tell us all about your wisdom today about making your dreams come true.
I'm so happy and grateful to be here, and also honored. Thank you, Lisa, for this opportunity.
We're very grateful you're here.
I'll make my speech short, and I would say that even if we want to reach or to live our dreams, and even if we don't do so much in living our dreams or visualizing our dreams, I truly believe that, and I tell you from my experience, I truly believe that even if you don't follow your dreams will follow you sooner or later. So I see our dreams as a river which flows into the sea. So our dreams might be maybe small. So we could have, or we can have, small dreams. They are like little rivers, and all the ways, all the roads, for me, or in my opinion, go to the same direction, sooner or later. The thing is to truly believe into your heart that you are, that dream fits you or is for you. So, you know, the French people have a saying, vive ton rêve le plus fou jusqu'au bout. It means live your dream, even if it is the fullest dream, but live it until the end. So live it into your heart. And I would say again, even if you don't follow your dreams will follow you sooner or later. Thank you.
Sorry, I just muted myself when I was already unmuted. That was very powerful. And that's a great message that you've sent to us. You know, your dreams will follow themselves. It's all about belief, isn't it? It's all about talking to yourself. And again, every element that we've mentioned, that's been mentioned today, bringing them in and having all those parts together to just make those dreams come true. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. Mihaela, and I know that you probably have to rush off because you've got somewhere to be, haven't you? And we really appreciate you being with us today and sharing with us. So thank you very much indeed. It's been a pleasure. And everybody that's on today's summit will be putting their contact details into the comments thread so that you can contact them individually and you can talk to them about how they can help you and what services they offer that might be of use to you. So before we let you go, do you want to share with anyone how you help people?
Well, my story begins many years ago. The thing is that I wanted so much to help teachers to have another perspective in the classroom regarding regarding the way they manage the emotions of kids. And here we talk about children starting from the age of 6 until the age of 16. And my initial thought was to train those teachers so that they can handle the emotions of kids. But something happened, talking a lot to myself, and I realized that adults can say something in trainings. When we are in trainings, adults can give so great answers if I will train them regarding what I said. Okay, and I said to myself, no, it's not a good way for me to train the teachers, because I will never know how this teacher will act, will behave with the kids. And I started to create programs for kids and to empower kids, to help kids talk to themselves, to help kids understand what happens inside their brain and how emotions take the power over them if they are not aware of that emotions. So we talk about the brain and about the responses that the brain has during stress periods. We talked about flight, about fight, about freezing, and also we tried to put this into reality, and we go outside and we walked downtown and we talked with people, trying to talk to people in English, okay, so that they are exposed and so that they can be aware of what can happen inside their brains and inside themselves when they are exposed to certain situations. So my love are children. So my work goes there, and my energy goes there.
I love that you were able to share that with us, and I knew I had a lot in common with you, with us both being educators and working with young children. I'm really grateful that you shared that, because there could be many people out there that really need that help. And again, that goes for all of our speakers today. They all really experts in their field. And as I said before, if you want to reach out to them to get their support, then we will put their contact details in. Thank you, Mihaela, for being with us. And we do understand that you do have to rush off, my lovely. Thank you. And I will be in touch with you, and maybe I can see you and I working together in the future, perhaps. That would be amazing. Take care of yourself. So I'm going to now introduce our very final speaker. Now, I'd like to say that it is not that she is last on the list. It was more like saving the best for last. No, you're all absolutely amazing, but it's never easy to be the one that waits till everyone else has spoken and be able to inspire an audience. But this lady can do that. So I'm going to share with you all about the lovely Naomi Brown. She is a life coach and she is a life coach and a mental health mentor. She's the founder of NLB Coaching Solutions, and she is specialist who is based in Scotland. Let me just move my thing up here out of the way, and then I won't be distracted. Sorry, I am being distracted. Apologies. I'm trying to make sure I can read it. So she is, I can tell you about her off the cuff, but I want to make sure I don't miss anything out. She opened her practice. I know she's opened her practice, her physical practice this year, to support men and women in the local area who are facing more and more challenges through an ever-changing social climate within the UK. Her first degree was in management and leadership practice, and Naomi is now commencing her master's in education, focusing on teaching and focusing on coaching. Sorry, I've got teaching in my mind now, and supporting others. Not only does she have the wealth of experience and knowledge from working in health and social care sector prior to her own business, but she has experience personally from the University of Hard Knocks, as many of us do, turning her pain into power after years of abuse and poor mental health. This has more than equipped her to help support and nurture all those that she works with. Her efforts have been even published in Yahoo Finance last year as being a top coach to look out for. And I would love for you to embrace Naomi as she joins us to talk about her take on making her dreams come true. And the floor is yours, Naomi.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Lisa. Oh, I hope I can do myself justice after listening to all these amazing coaches that I've just had the pleasure and honor of listening to. I hope you guys have enjoyed the summit so far. So my name is Naomi, and I am coming to you today all the way from Scotland. So about 10 hours ago, I was in Turkey, but I was not going to miss this opportunity, an absolute honoring experience to talk to you all today. Before I continue, I want you guys to take, if anything, from what I'm about to speak to you is about two things when it comes to dreams, and it's to rest, not quit, and a really, really powerful, simple and concise framework that I've created with my mental health coaching clients, and that is to care for yourself when it comes to creating dreams and making them reality. But before I begin, I would really like to share a little bit backstory into kind of being here with you guys. When Lisa read my bio there, it brought a little tear to my eye just to kind of see how far life has pivoted and catapulted in the last couple of years from where I once used to be. Now, dreams for me, I would say they were actually more of a nightmare, a living nightmare. So the dream that I have nowadays, to support people and to live a life of abundance is only one I could have ever dreamed of. Life began for me as a nightmare. I had found myself, from a young child historically in a pattern of abuse, which was physical, emotional, narcissistic. And as I grew up and through adolescence and through school, I had found this pattern had followed me. And, you know, I would focus more on the nightmares of yesterday than the dreams of the future. And I had found myself, you know, in adult life as a very depressed, mentally unwell, suicidal young woman who really had no direction in what I wanted to do. I'd always had a passion to learn, to study, to support others, and had spent a long time in the health and social care sector, almost using what I'd been through as a catalyst to listen to others and apply that nurturing approach. But it wasn't really until 2 years ago when something had to give, and I had an epiphany moment, as you will, which I think so many of us need to have when it comes to creating dreams and making them a reality. And it was that I was repeating the same cycle over and over again, this schemata of negativity and absolute garbage. And nothing was really changing for me in the way that I wanted it to. So I had to start thinking, what can I do to change that? And what cycle can I break? And as I set up as a coach, I had to really kind of reset everything. And it had to become a totally immersive experience. And it's the same when we're creating our dreams. We have to go all in. And that might sound cliche, but it really is true. So, you know, we have to evolve along that way with our dreams as well. And, you know, so often I'd like to think of our dreams as an iceberg. We often see the polish effect. We see Beyonce doing her thing on the stage and looking amazing and flawless even, and, you know, the billionaire queen that she is today. And Beyonce is a really good, easy one to use because we all know who Beyonce is. And but underneath, when we look further into that iceberg, right, we don't see the hard work. We don't see the sacrifice. We don't see the self-criticism, the chastity that we give ourselves. And we often just focus on that tiny little bit at the top without seeing the whole big thing at the bottom. So as I've initiated and built my coaching practice with my clients, and I've had people tell me I'm stupid for doing so, and what the heck are you doing? And you'll never amount to this. And that comes from that repetitive pattern that I have to break. I put into place a really simple, effective framework based on my experiences of working in the health and social care sector, based on my own experiences, called Care Framework. And I really want to share this with you guys because it's so important. When we think of dreams, we also need to think of our mental health. And mental health is a massive thing that I advocate for. You know, in the UK, we have 1 in 3 people suffering from mental health and illness at any given point. And I'm sure that figure is dwindling even more so as we look across the globe, particularly with the pandemic that we have seen ourselves in. And this was, you know, something that I wanted to initiate for my clients, you know, to remember that their dreams, no matter how big or small, are valid to them, but it has to start with them. It can't start from that, just looking at that shiny tip of that iceberg that I just spoke about. So the Care Framework, C, is for compassion. So when we're working on ourselves, when our dreams have been a nightmare, it's so important that we give compassion. We give compassion to look forward. We give compassion in the present moment, for what we've been through does not define us, but it can be used as a catalyst to push us forward into, you know, achieving those dreams, to going for gold. And, you know, it's cliche, but, you know, I feel now I can talk, you know, with accountability in this area, and we'll get onto the A part in a moment because accountability is massive for that. But I want you to think of, what are your dreams? You know, is it to be like Beyonce? Is it to be, you know, the next superstar? Is it to be someone that's going to empower and nurture people, you know, every single day of your life? But whatever it is, it has to come from a place of heart. And we can only do that when we are compassionate towards ourselves and we care, you know, for ourselves. That self-care that Sherry spoke about, you know, that love that we give ourselves will help us shine and radiate towards our dreams. And it, you know, it really is true. And then we have to look at the A. So we have to be accountable. We have to be aware, and we have to think of the achievements that we've already achieved, because achievements build on, our dreams are built on our achievements. It helps us further and extend what we want to do in our lives. But just talking about accountability there, like when I look at like the stuff that I had been through, and the dramas and the patterns and the toxicity, I was toxic in myself because I was allowing the toxic situation to become me because I thought that was going to define me. And in reality, it doesn't at all. So I had to take a bit of a accountability and, drink that wise the hell up, Naomi. This is what you've been up to in these situations in order to move on. And once you take that accountability, and it's hard, because ego loves to tell us that it's not our fault, it's everyone else's fault, what did we do to deserve this? And you have to push further and come from a place of love, so get back to that compassion. But once you've accepted that accountability, it's so important that you become aware of that. And what does that look like? And that's where our triggers come in, guys. And triggers are horrible, but let me tell you something. Our triggers are our responsibility to sort out. They're not anyone else's triggers. They're ours and ours alone to deal with. But also in that A of the framework, achievements. Think right back to when you were tiny, to that first gold medal you got at sports day, or that dance recital that you smashed as a small 5-year-old girl or boy. Like, think right back all the way along of the timeline of your life. Write them down, get them physical, get them tangible, so you can see them and so you can remain accountable. But once you're able to do that, you will start to see that you are not so bad in what and what you've been through, that pain. It can be your power. And in my office now, in my little cork board, I have all my achievements, from my graduations to being in Yahoo Finance to the dance recital, and it puts into perspective that my abuse didn't define me, and I wasn't a worthless piece of trash growing up, that I was more than that. And we are more than our pain. We are power. We are phoenixes, guys. And then that follows on nicely to the R in the framework: resilience, regeneration, recovery. What does that look like? When we have been through, excuse my language, a shit ton in life, we often think that the shit ton has got to be who we are, and it's not. Look below that. Who are you on a quality and skill set level? That pain, that nightmare, think, how did you handle that? How did you get through that? What did you have to do? Was it problem solving? Was it logic? Was it cry a load and then sit and eat that bucket of ice cream? Whatever works for you in that recovery process. And when I say that, I mean whatever works for you in a healthy way. Drink, drugs, and alcohol will only bring more trauma and pain to our lives. So when it comes to recovery and regeneration, rest is best. And that sounds so cliche, but rest is really best. And it took me a good 7 months after 30 years of trauma and abuse, and going to therapy and working with a coach and being accountable, and even going on a small dose of medication for a period, to really look at how I could recover so it wasn't going to affect me later in life. And I'm so fortunate now that pattern of abuse is broken. I've met the man of my dreams, but that comes again from that place of accountability and rest enables us to really reflect. And when we're able to reflect, guys, we're able to recover. And finally, in the framework, E, empower. And empower and empathy for yourself. So, when you have been through things in life, you've lost that job, or you didn't get the job, or, things have really knocked you, the wind out your sails. It's important that you use that power and that pain and turn it into power. There is glory in your story. And there's always someone out there that will find inspiration with, what you've been through. I am so fortunate and so grateful that I'm able to sit with my clients now and not think that I'm some damaged basket case who was chronically depressed for years, living on her nerves and with PTSD, that I would ever be fortunate enough to support people and have an understanding of what they're going through my own experiences towards this. And that comes from a place of empathy. And I think empathy, particularly with what we are facing in the world, redundancy and inflation and pandemic, and, violence and chaos and negativity, is the hardest thing we can do. But try and put yourself in someone else's shoes when it comes to building your dreams, because, we're not here to compete. We're here to collaborate. And when we're able to collaborate, we're able to learn. And when we're able to learn, those dreams are going to go much, much further, guys. So, this little framework that I've used, I use it on myself now because, dreams, as we work towards them, it's okay to have days where you have a trip or where you can't be bothered, or you think, that you're not worthy of the life that you're, worthy living, but you are. And that's where rest is best. Rest, don't quit, sorry. It's okay to have a day off. It's okay to have a week off, but never have a life off, because your dreams will pass you by. Thank you so much, guys.
Wow, well done. Amazing, Naomi. Very, very inspiring, again, motivating. And what I loved is that you've closed the summit today with your story, and how your story has empowered you to help others to do the very thing, which is to reach for the stars, to break out that glass ceiling, as Sheldon said, to realize that they are the phoenix. I love that. You mentioned, we're all the phoenix. You rise. You're not defined by what happened, are you? You're not, it doesn't define you. And you can use it as a catalyst, which I think is a really important thing that you mentioned. And that's what you yourself have done. And, you mentioned being a self-critic as well. We're all guilty of that from time to time. But there's two things you said that I really, really loved as well. And I before I go on to those, I wanted to say I was particularly touched by you talking about the triggers as well, that I think we have to take responsibility for a lot of things that are actually our responsibility. They're not, you're right, the triggers are our problem. It's not, somebody else is triggering us. So it's being aware that you can only change you, and you can only change the way you respond to things. But the two things I absolutely loved were your quotes, and I think I'm going to put them on my social media as quotes from Naomi Brown. Pain into power, glory in the hour. I loved it. I absolutely loved everything you shared with us. Thank you so much for your wisdom today. And that also goes for everybody here on the summit. I think you are all extremely amazing individuals with your own stories. And there was an example of how we use our story to show that we don't have to compare to anybody. I'd love to hear from everybody who's listening today, your takeaways from today's summit, what you have learned. I know that I have scribbled lots and lots of notes in my book, and I have taken so much wisdom away from these wonderful speakers today, and I only can thank them all. Thank you so much for being here. We're very blessed at GST Global Speakers Talk that you have chosen to come on our platform and share your wisdom today with us to help others who are in our audience. And again, to our audience, I would really love to say thank you for being here with us live. And for those who are watching the replay, please do indicate #replay. We love to know that you dropped in and saw us, and that you took something from this. And as I said, write it down for us so we can know what you learned. And other people can see the comments and think, oh, I would quite like to listen to that and learn those things too. And they might dive in and listen to the summit as well. So thank you all again. That is the end of our summit today. We finished on time. Unfortunately, we don't have an extra speaker today. We just had the 5 speakers. However, we also did manage to get here, even though we were a little late. So I just want to apologize for us being a little bit late for some people, because I know that some thought that it was 3 and not 4 p.m. in the UK because of the mix up of the time zones, where 10 a.m. EST now became, it's 3 p.m. in the UK. In GMT, but in British summertime it's still 4 p.m. or something like that. It was a little confusing. Anyway, I would like to open the floor up if there are any questions from anybody. Now is your time just to share before we close it up for today. I haven't seen any questions in the chats as now, and if you do want to put your questions into the comments thread, then I'm sure that our experts will be happy to comment on them and get back to you with regard to those questions at a later date. Thank you so much, everybody. We're just going to say goodbye to everybody now in the audience. So if all the speakers who are still here would join me in saying thank you for being here. And we hope you'll join us next month in November for another Global Speakers Talk Summit with some experts talking about the topic of the month. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.